We're going to move on now to the Connect Talk, Get Moving with a Destination, Pedal Power for the People. How's that for a catchy title? And if you were with us last year, you'll remember that we spent some time talking about the future of mobility, ride-sharing, electric buses, autonomous vehicles, and their anticipated impact. And just out of curiosity, how many of you were here last year at Connect? Okay. How many of you have seen a Lime bike, the green bikes around? Oh, look at that, everybody. Wow, amazing. So today, we're going to turn back the clock now and discuss an invention that dates back well over 200 years and perhaps earlier to around 1817 when the first bicycle found its way in Germany, actually. And while pedestrians may still encounter a bicycle at a crosswalk speeding past a stop sign, technology has provided another tool to supplant ownership and to tackle the last mile challenge. And our next Connect Talk presenter is Katie Stevens with Lime Bike, and she's going to share some thoughts on smart personal mobility. So let me call up Katie, and would you give her a warm Facebook welcome?
Well, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. My name is Katie Stevens. I'm Senior Director for Government Relations at Lime. As you guys know, it is Lime Bike. Stole my thunder a little bit. I was going to do the hand raise. Who's heard of it? So I'm really thrilled to see that so many people are familiar with it. We're certainly doing our job and just very excited about the future. It's really nothing short of a pivotal moment in urban transportation, right? This model, and I'll talk a little bit about it, has really taken hold. Sorry, is there? Yeah. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. So it's really taken hold. And today I wanted to talk, I could go through the slides about how it works, but instead I'm going to talk about our journey. I'm going to talk about my personal experience and why mobility is important to me, and how it's transformation to all, and dare I say, put the fun back in functional. Oops. First, let's take a look at some depressing statistics. Global urbanization is posing a significant challenge to our livable urban environment, both in terms of traffic congestion and certainly the pollution that comes with it. The estimate is that by 2050, 68% of the total population will live in cities. That's 4 billion people. Currently, about 13% of U.S. residents live in urban counties. So that's a significant increase over the course of time, over the course of the next 20 years or so, 30 years. Yet our infrastructure is far from catching up. And the pollution that comes with growth is drastically worsening. The question is, what can we do about it? And how can we leave the earth a better place than when we found it? For some, obviously, the easiest answer is simply to build more roads and highways to accommodate more cars. But as Kevin Costner's phantom voice said in that blockbuster film, if you build it, they will come. And throwing more cars at traffic is not the solution. We've seen it. It's making things worse. We need to significantly and urgently reduce carbon emissions, or the consequences will be devastating. So we need to ask ourselves, is there a way to make our cities greener, healthier, less congested, and more livable and accessible? What we can do as individuals, as companies, as communities, and as human beings as a whole. What is it that we can do about it? My story, so growing up in suburban Clovis, California. Do we have any Central Valley folks? Oh, nice, okay. All right, that was a little sad, but that's okay. This is not Clovis, California, by the way. So my biking when I was young was primarily for transportation going to and from school. But I quickly ditched it once I got my driver's license and Sue and Mike Stevens let me borrow the keys to their very practical Honda Accord. When I was diagnosed with epilepsy, was at college in LA, this all changed. Although I was eventually cleared to drive, my seizures under control, I had such immense anxiety moving around Los Angeles in a car. couldn't get to my internships, couldn't get to my jobs off campus, and the public transit was so limiting in such a sprawling metropolis that I largely confined myself to campus or depended on friends and taxis to get anywhere I needed to go. It wasn't until I moved to DC as a young professional and started walking, biking, taking public transportation, taking the metro everywhere, that I realized how transformative and freeing a carless existence can be, especially with those with disabilities. But most Americans like me growing up don't live in urban environments like DC or San Francisco, where people have access to more mobility options. And the US is already far behind other countries, right? We spoke about Germany a little earlier. They have the highest number of bikes per capita in the world. So is Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Sweden, and Japan, and China, the list goes on and on. A significant percentage of transportation in these countries is alternative forms of transportation, and this is regardless of age, gender, income, or social class. So do those cities have better weather, wider roads, or smoother pavement? Not exactly. So what's really blocking us from achieving the 10, 20, 40%, dare I say 50% of traffic on alternative modes? There's really nothing stopping us. So what is it then? Well, we found through months of research that the true reason the US has a low percentage of alternative forms of transportation is that there are simply very few viable options for users that are convenient and affordable enough to be used on a daily basis. And of course, on top of that, our cities and culture have largely been built around automobiles and the infrastructure to accommodate them. We're aiming to change that. We're aiming to change culture and human behavior, which is very difficult to change. But that's how our founders started Lime, and the Lime team has since devoted ourselves to providing the best solution for urban transportation by leveraging technology. So when Lime started, people were skeptical, and maybe they still are. Some said that shared bikes have already been tried before, and it never had taken off. Some said the business model will never make money to be sustainable, hence the burning dollar bills you see there. Don't do that, by the way. And some said that if products are shared, they'll get abused. And yes, they certainly end up in trees, on poles, stolen, or become their own form of what we call installation art. So why aren't bike share systems currently wildly successful? When I was trying to use those services, I realized that most docked bike share systems that we've known up until now are a little clumsy to use. They cost cities money and years to build. In some cases, charged more than a Lyft or an Uber ride, didn't provide insurance to riders, and fine users for riding too long, too far, or not returning to docks, which is not the user's fault. If the mission is to get users to ride more, ride farther, and ride safer, that was not the panacea. What if we can create a service that's so convenient and cost-effective that users will love it without convincing? What if the shared scooters and bikes cost less than a bus ride? A third of an Uber trip gets users from point A to point B even faster. And that drove the creation of Lime. So we're one of the pioneers of free-floating dockless model. It only took us 2 short centuries from the invention of the bike and 100 years from the invention of the powered standing scooter to make it happen. That one is gas. Ours is no longer gas. To ride a Lime, users simply use their smartphone to locate, unlock, and pay for the ride with just a few clicks by leveraging GPS location and their wireless network. The service is readily available anytime, anywhere, and will take users directly to their destination, not a docking station. Sometimes our fares are even more affordable than a bus ride. We've launched 3 different products in 8 months since our first market launch and keep iterating and improving. We're on our 4th generation scooter now, and it's not because the first few were poorly conceived. It's simply because we are trying to constantly meet the demands of consumers and riders and our customers, which is certainly cities that we partner with. And we're the only company in the world that has a multimodal fleet like this. It includes pedal bikes, e-bikes, and our e-scooter. So just quickly, how do we deliver on that experience to users? We focus on the 3 A's. It's not AAA, but it's availability, accessibility, and affordability. We believe this model needs to be inclusive and needs broader participation. Therefore, in addition to the multimodal products, we have also led the industry's first insurance coverage, developed cash payment for non-banking users, remote unlocking for non-smartphone users, and an equity program that provides up to a 95% discount to low-income users. We also set an affordable price, as we believe that in order to reach a broader base, we should start with a lower rate to generate a broader base. With the endless efforts we put in, I'm happy to report that we're now in over 120 cities and school campuses in only 15 months since our initial launch. Isn't that incredible? Thank you. And we're further expanding globally, now launching at the speed of 1 city a day. We just launched Warsaw, Poland on Sunday, and this is extraordinarily outdated as of a week ago. So a couple things that I'm running out of time, so I'll just quickly go through this, but just wanted to point out, people are transformed through their experiences, and that's why this is so popular. You'll see that we've had, again, this is even slightly outdated since last week, over 14 million trips and 5 million users served globally. It's about 35 plus round trips to the moon and back, lots of gallons of gas consumption saved, calories burned, so you can have that Big Mac. And then the fastest ever growing business in the history of Silicon Valley. Mode shift is real. This is my favorite hashtag. Hashtag mode shift is real. A survey conducted by Portland Bureau of Transportation surveyed their riders for their 3-month pilot of scooters. So there are multiple operators that operate in Portland. And what they found was really interesting. It's what we found internally, but it's even much more persuasive and pronounced because there are multiple operators, right? And it's an independent study. And what Portland found was that 34% of residents and 48% of visitors are trading scooters for cars. That's really moving the needle. That's exciting. So I missed a slide, and it's my beautiful pictures of people enjoying themselves on Instagram and Twitter. I'll say, people are using it to save time and money, but they're really enjoying it, and that's why I say fun and functional. That's a really bad joke, but they are, it's so popular because people are having a great time doing it. They're using a scooter to get to go eat those carnitas tacos at the Embarcadero in San Diego. They're jumping on it, at CSU Monterey Bay to get to school. We had a tweet, it's one of my favorite tweets from sort of a skeptic in Baltimore who said she just ran into a guy renting a Lime bike scooter outside of the office. He collapsed his cane, hung it from the handlebars, and said, yeah, it helps me get around, and I don't have to worry about this cane. Mobility is magic, people, just pure joy and magic. I wouldn't be doing my job without a call to action. So just quickly, if you're an elected official or a community leader, please help embrace this new technology and service and work with us on innovating around product, education, safety features, and the built environment. If you're an individual, please do help us push forward the movement of reducing traffic congestion and pollution. You can help to build a greener and livable future by mindfully choosing your mode of transportation, whether it be your own personal bike or Lime's options. Thank you very much.
Let's give a big round of applause again for Katie Stevens and her call to action.